Yeah, a couple of months ago, man, C-Town had a rant on Twitter about, imagine that, about basically people bragging about their collections that are basically all digital. And you know, in this age that we're in now, and where we're moving towards a more traditional style format where everything is basically going to be in the cloud, you know, it really brought up a kind of an interesting discussion, because he and I kind of, you know, exchanged a few tweets back and forth about it. And so I kind of wanted to talk about it, because we have kind of like a pretty young following, and you know, with C-Town, you know, Modest Media, even Brandon, like we grew up in an era, you know, where we bought physical CDs, even FIFO. And now we're in a day and age where everything is through iTunes. Motherfuckers getting Spotify shit or listening to shit through Pandora. So, you know, it's like, is this transition, is this move towards the future, is it a good move? Dead in hip-hop conversations.
Like C-Town, dead in hip-hop.
Dead in hip-hop conversations. I'm here with Night Wonder. What's good, homie? Peace to the age. Dead in hip-hop. And did I misquote you?
I was gonna be quiet until you finished, but let me clarify what the actual rant was about. The rant was not so much about people bragging about their collections. The rant was really about two things. One, it was about, I went to LA and hung out with my boy Henry. Shout out to the boy Ellis. And we think kind of the same way when it comes to this. If you're really debating with somebody about music and you're getting deep about it, and they're this self-proclaimed, you know, music expert, and you say, well, you know, where do you get your records at? I don't buy records. Buy CDs? I don't buy CDs. I don't buy shit digital. It just comes off weird to me. It just comes off weird to me. And then after that, coincidentally, like a week later, I got into a debate with this guy. That was basically saying that. It was just like, oh, you don't know anything, you know, blah 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 blah. And I was like, well, you know, let's talk about collections. And he was just like, I don't buy records or CDs anymore. I just buy everything digital. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how do you do that? Like, how does that even work? Like, how do you just get everything digital? It's just bizarre to me. That was really what the rant was about. It was like, I don't feel like you can come off to me like you're this crazy music historian, but your entire collection is a bunch of fucking terabyte hard drives. It's just like, come on, man. I mean, that's cool. If you prefer digital, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it's just, I'm weird like that. I have a weird time like trying to debate with somebody about the musical landscape of history when all your shit is nothing but it's all in iTunes.
Even if they're buying old albums through iTunes digitally.
That's what I'm saying. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird to me. I mean, I know I'm probably the only one that still goes out. I mean, I know you started buying vinyl again, but I mean, like, I'm probably the only nerd that goes out and that constantly buys CDs and constantly buys records. I still even buy cassettes if I see some shit that I don't have. You know.
You know what, man? For me, I went mostly digital for the simple fact that I got robbed too many fucking times. Like, my CD collection, you know, they either get scratched, broken, niggas don't give them back, you know, stolen. So just over the time, you know, I felt like I just lost a lot of fucking money buying CDs. So I'm like, damn, you know, when digital shit come out, hey, as long as you got that shit backed up, you know, I feel like I still have it. You know, so for me, it's just easier for me to manage. You know, like, I don't have to lug around my CD case or anything like that. Now, I will buy certain, you know, an album that I think is classic, I will buy and keep it in the wrapper. I won't open it. I'll just keep it there. But I'll have the digital version. Like, I won't listen to that. You know, because, you know, when I don't buy everything I listen to. But when I do buy if I buy an album that was classic to me, what?
So it's basically collector's item.
Yeah, it's like a collector.
Tell on yourself.
Oh well, shit. I'm gonna be straight up.
Okay,
you know, I
cool.
only support the artists that I like.
Be real.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I feel that they put out a classic work, I'll buy the CD, and it's like I keep it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, pristine condition. I don't mess with it, and I'll just listen to the digital version. But it's just it's been so much easier for me. You know what I'm saying? And
So
less
like,
money.
It's like an organizational thing.
Yeah,
Like, you want to have everything on the drive and not worry about carrying CD books and having CD racks and all that
CD
little
books,
stuff.
man.
I mean, you know, like
that's
CD racks and all that stuff. I think it's an organizational thing for some people. They're like, heck, why have a you know, all these racks of CDs and stuff where I can just get it digital and be straight. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it is for the most part. It's organization.
Well, you know, I think just to go back to what you were saying about people stealing the CDs, I think for me, and just maybe because I'm an old head, I think that's kind of been part of like the nostalgia part of talking about your collection. Like, if I'm in a discussion with somebody, like, yeah, I remember man, I bought that shit like you know, a couple of years ago, man, and somebody stole all my shit.
Everybody
like,
has a story like that.
Yeah, man, and it's kind of the fun of saying like, yeah, I had that shit, man, I had this booklet,
It
man.
ain't
Like,
fun when you losing money.
yeah, man.
It's not fun on the pocket.
It's not fun, but I think when I talk about it, it's like, for me, it's like, damn, yeah, I remember having that shit. I had to go back and rebuy all that
But
shit.
it's a great memory, and that's all it is, though. You know what I'm saying? When you
Yeah, but that's kind of, I don't know,
This
man.
is painful right now.
It's kind of part of it, though.
You don't have memories when your entire collection is nothing but MP3s. You have no memories. Do you remember the first album you downloaded? Of course not. I remember the first CD I bought. I remember the first cassette I bought. I remember the first record I bought. That's a real memory. You don't get that when you're going to iTunes and you're just clicking a couple buttons. Yeah, like I've already told you guys the first cassette I bought. You know, the first CD I bought was the first Cypress Hill album. It was the first thing I ever bought on CD. It's like those are real memories. Like you walk out with something in your hand and you're just like, you know, I paid for this. And then you're flipping through the booklet and you're looking at you get a sense of their personality and what they were thinking when they made the album. You know, by going through the liner notes and going through the album artwork that they chose to use. It's not the same thing as if you're downloading an album and you're getting a bunch of fucking PDFs. It's just like
get a audio booklet. I mean,
you get a digital booklet. It's just, it doesn't feel the same to me. You know.
You know, I agree. You know, it isn't the same, and I don't remember the fucking first song I downloaded, and I remember the first album that I bought, you know, physical copy. But at least for me, because you know I'm older, you know, now that I work for my money, you know what I'm saying? I don't like losing the shit. You know, back when I was a kid and I got money from my parents or this, that, and the third, you know, it's different. You value it differently.
Waste that money.
Okay, let me ask you this: how did you get it stolen? How did you get your CD stolen?
The first time, or like
Before you even say, I'm gonna tell B how I think it happened, and then you can tell me what really happened. Don't listen. Go ahead.
All right, my biggest collection was stolen out of my car.
What did I say? It was a CD booklet, wasn't it? That's your problem. If you really value the shit that you buy, you don't put it in a fucking booklet and carry it around your car. That was your mistake.
But but if you want to listen to it,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not
taking
taking
it
it
while you're
out
traveling.
every time.
You know what I used to do? When I you know, had I still have a tape deck in my car actually.
Yeah.
I used to record onto a cassette tape because I did not want what happened to you to happen to me. I had a lot of friends who had CD booklets with thousands of CDs in them, you know. Those booklets get stolen, or you know, all you have left is the fucking artwork, an empty case on your shelf. I would have a fucking heart attack.
I didn't even have the booklets, but I put the
That shit's
booklets
happened
inside
to me
of
too.
it.
Right, and so all you had was empty.
I used to do that. I used to actually do that in high school. Like all my CDs I still had the cassette tape, and I have a blank, put like record the CD onto the tape. I'm like, fuck, if you steal the tape, I still got my CD at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool. I used to do that.
So you're gonna really transfer all your shit, like you
Not
got
all
like.
of it, but like
No, I'm saying
in the car.
Right, but I'm saying like you say you have 10 albums that you want to listen to in the car. Y'all like CD changers or whatever.
I would have a box of cassettes.
You just have a box of
I bought like a 5-pack. I just bought like a 5-pack.
That just seems like a little much, and you saying that you would continue to do that.
It's better than getting your shit stolen.
Yeah. I'm not saying that is not better than, but I'm just saying, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It's
you
be
were
fun.
backing up onto
I'm not saying-
tapes.
come on, I come from that era.
People backing up onto hard drive.
Well, here's
They're not backing up. They're just putting on a hard drive. There's no physicals. You what? What? Damn.
Answer
I've
What?
been
Just
quiet.
go.
Hear what you gotta say?
No, because I didn't necessarily download. I didn't transfer mine to a cassette. You know, when my shit was stolen in college. But what I did was I bought an actual CD changer. You know, because you know, for me, it's always been a dilemma moving from each stage, each advancement in technology. Like, I had an issue moving from cassette to CD. Like, 'cause, you know, I always found the reason why this shit was whack. Like, the shit gets scratched up, it can break, you know, but then I realized you can have the same shit happen with cassettes as well. So I finally made the transition to CD. You know, and surprisingly, I do remember the first album I bought on iTunes because I despise buying music from any type of digital store at all. And it was the Kendrick Lamar album. It was the first album I ever bought through iTunes. I did not want to buy the album to save my life.
I think he released that digitally though.
Yeah, it was a digital only release, and then I think after that I bought the Ab Soul, and that was the only way you could get it. It was the only way you could get it through digital. But I did not want to buy it. Like, I was holding out as hard as, you know, as long as I could, but
to wait for like a buy.
Yeah, but I had to. So for me, there are memorable moments when I transition from one format to the other. But no, I never had my shit pop, my window popped, and people jacked my shit out of the car though.
And then, you know, the other thing too, like Ken was talking about the migration from, you know, tape to CD to digital. You know, the thing that nobody's mentioned is the quality. The quality always gets better. So for me, you know, I don't necessarily want to call myself an audiophile, but I definitely have, you know, I like shit to sound a certain way. And, you know, that's the reason why I bought the Beats years ago. You know what I'm saying? When they, like, before they hit stores, I had them shits. But it's just because I'm like that. Like, I like sound reproduction.
How much you pay? Like 300 something for them? We was talking on your ass about that.
You know, they make Bose has headphones that sound just as good.
Well,
You didn't know that.
nah, well,
People buy them because, you know, Dre did them.
Actually, Mike, I'm probably one of the most informed consumers. So when I went to the Apple store, I listened to the
Right, I mean, because we was like, we
No, I'm
was
saying,
trying
but
to
you
give it
didn't go around listening to other shit.
No, I
did.
did. That's what I'm saying.
Why did you choose the Dre's over
The Dre's
over
were
the
better.
Bose?
The Dre's were better.
We had the
I didn't think they were.
Yeah, we jumped on, like, we were like, are you serious?
But
really paid $300?
But you know what? I sold my Beats, and I'm about to get some Audio Technias M50. So I know about my fucking music.
I'm just saying. When I listened to the Dre's, they didn't sound any different from the Bose that my ex-girlfriend's parents bought me. And I still have those. And those are fucking great headphones.
Yeah,
I didn't think the sound quality was any different. And if it was, it wasn't enough to justify paying another $200.
Well, the ones that I looked at the Quiet Comfort 2s versus the Beats. They were right next to each other. They were both the same price. They were both $249 at the Apple store at the time when I bought them. And I listened to the Quiet Comfort 2s, I listened to the Beats, and I listened to another Sony pair that was there. And I listened to another Bose pair. I can't remember the Bose pair, but they were only like $120. And the Beats blew all three of them away. It just blew them away. So I'm like, okay, well, I know.
Dre said so.
Not because
I'm fucking with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm kidding.
It definitely blew them away, so I had to buy them. But for me, it's always been about quality. And that's another reason why I like digital, because now you can get them at, you know, 320 gigabytes, you know, sound quality. I'm that's just how I am.
Can we be real right now? Can we be real right now and admit that it's really got more to do with the fact that you don't have to pay for the fucking shit? You don't have to. I mean, maybe not you specifically. Okay, maybe not just you, but people. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, of course.
I don't think that the reason that people are buying, or not even buying, just getting mostly digital. It's not just because, you know, the quality is that much better, because it's a fucking Lil Wayne album. How much different could it possibly be versus a CD? You're getting the digital because you can get it for free.
I don't think that. I think it's a convenience thing more than anything.
Yeah, the convenience of not having to spend your money on an album.
No, I'm saying the convenience of not having to tug around a CD.
Maybe
just
for
pop.
you.
Or even go to the store. Or
saying-
even going to the store.
Yeah, I'm saying just
That's
general,
what I mean.
not just for me.
organization. Yeah, people don't want to have
Right.
lug around. Like I said,
Yeah, because
You don't have to lug around a CD case, like I said already.
I know. I'm
That's
just
what
saying. I think
that's
people.
what iPods are made
I think
for.
people don't want to just have those.
A whole case.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
Because my drawer at work is full of CDs right now. Because y'all remember I had this conversation with Ken and Ralph, man. I was like, man, why the fuck do y'all buy digital shit? I'm not saying that I agree with it, because I still buy, like, physical copies, but I mean, but I can understand people that don't, man. I mean,
I
understand.
can. If you're a casual consumer, I can understand you preferring digital over anything else. It completely makes sense. I cannot understand people that call themselves, and I don't call myself a music historian because I don't at all. I may come off as pretentious a lot, but I don't call myself a music historian. But I can't understand people that come off that way and call themselves this, but your entire collection is digital. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like when I was younger, man, it was like going to a fucking record store was like a social event. Like that was our idea of fun. Like you go to the record store and you talk shit. Conversations we're having right now, they happen at record stores constantly.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have these conversations anymore with fucking iTunes chat rooms.
Yeah.
Like come on, like when you go to a record store and you're able to talk to the person behind the counter, like, hey man, what's new today? Oh, I just got this record, man, check this out. Puts it on, you're like, oh, I've never heard of this. This is cool as fuck. How much is it? $10? I got it. Let's buy this. You don't have that anymore. And I think that a lot of people are missing that side of music. Like there's a difference between being a music collector and just a music listener. And I think that I look at things a lot through being a collector. Like I don't take CDs out of my room. That's why I can't even relate to you guys with getting a booklet stolen. Because a booklet would have never had my CDs in it in the first place. All you would have gotten out of my car was literally a cardboard box full of blank cassette tapes. That's all you'd have gotten because everything I have is still at the house. All my records, all my CDs.
Well, I've had stuff stolen from the house too.
I have renter's insurance and I have alarms on every apartment I get for that specific reason. For my CDs, my records, and my cat. If any of those three things are gone,
I got money
You get you a
about
dog,
you know what?
Probably save you some money.
This
No.
person, the person that you was arguing with, is he the same age as like around our
Gotta
age?
get
yes, he was older.
Wow,
he was
really?
older, and that was the issue with the conversation. I have no issue with people going all digital. What I have an issue with is when people try to criticize you for, oh, you're still buying CDs, oh, you're still buying records.
And he's our age? That's
Fuck
crazy.
you, man. What do you mean? Like, this is how I came up. Like, I have I have a connection to this that I bought. There are memories that are connected to this album, to this CD, because I went out and bought it. I had to work to get this. You know what I mean? Like there have been plenty of times where I've gone to record stores. Like you go, it's like an Easter egg hunt. You don't know what you're gonna get. You just go. And you might find some shit that you didn't know anything about. Pick it up, go back home like, wow.
Blow you away.
Yeah. It's like you don't have that anymore.
I disagree slightly.
You ain't did that in a minute.
Yeah.
God damn, man.
I disagree
Gift
because
and a curse, man.
you know I give you the fact that it's a little bit more memorable, and I give you the fact
A
that
little bit? It's a lot more memorable. You can't name the first thing you downloaded. So
okay,
so it's a lot more memorable.
But Ken does. You know,
Because he was mad about it.
Okay, but it's just me. Okay, but I'm just saying it's just me, so we can't speak for everybody. But I'm just saying me. And
Do you remember the first thing you downloaded? Do you remember the first thing you downloaded?
most people, I give you that, but it's not everybody.
Rob TJ, will,
I
Rob
do.
will.
TJ,
I do know.
what was the first album you ever downloaded? There you go.
No, I feel you.
And that's
but-
most people, dude.
and I give you that it's most people, but you do lose the human interaction from going to an actual physical store. But in iTunes, you can go and you don't know what the hell is out, and you can browse everything that's there. And you be like, oh shit, and you could even preview the shit.
How long does that take, Raphael?
It-
Versus
but-
going
but
to a
what-
record store, having a
but- but-
conversation with a person.
But what does that matter though?
What do you mean, what does it matter? That's
What-
a huge
what-
part of
okay.
being a music fan is getting that interaction from people and
Like,
saying,
I remember-
having them recommend you something versus you going to iTunes and you're scrolling through all day.
But I'm saying, but people don't recommend stuff even without going to an actual store. People
They
recommend stuff.
do, but
okay.
it's not as frequent. It's not the same as when you go to a record store and you're having conversations with people. You learn shit. Like, I learned a lot from going to record stores. A lot. You walk away getting a different perspective about how music is and how this album sounds and where this came from. Now you gotta go online and go to Wikipedia and dig through Google. We didn't have to do that shit back then. You go to a record store and you ask the dude behind the counter,
Yeah.
hey man, like, you know, this fucking, you know, this Jimi Hendrix album. How was this made? What the fuck? Why is this song sound like, you know, why does it sound like this? And half the time the motherfuckers would know. And they explain to you every facet of what was involved with making that record. People don't even care about that shit anymore. As long as it bumps in the whip and it sounds good in their headphones, they don't give a fuck about where it came from and the method of thinking that was involved with making the album. It's like music has no soul anymore, and no personality and no substance because nobody gives a shit about anything that was involved with making it. As long as it sounds good, as long as it's, what do you call it? What is the 2000 KB, whatever it is?
256 kilobytes.
Yeah, as long as that shit is on point, and your IDD tags are fucking correct, that's all that fucking matters.
You know, but the thing though, Mike, is everybody doesn't, you know, there's still people that are out there that still want to know how things were made, and you just referenced it. The difference is now is that I don't need somebody to tell me. I could go find the shit myself. Now, the difference is if somebody wants to go find it versus the people that don't give a shit about it. And I give you that. Some people don't care, and some people, all they want to do is for it to sound good in the headphones and for it to bump in the whip and to do all that. But the thing is that the information is still out there, regardless if you get it from a person or you get it from Wikipedia or you get it from a PDF on a torrent. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day is that you're still getting the same type of information. Granted, the way that it was communicated to you was different, and yes, we do lose that personal touch. But at the end of the day, you still get that info though.
You don't get all the info because all you're getting is a PDF with the information. What if you want to ask questions about it? You gotta fucking email somebody, hope they answer you. It's not the same thing, man. It's not the same thing. And I think this is probably an age gap. You know, I grew up waxing facts, going to Criminal, and going to Earwax, and having conversations with people. What's the latest album that you think is dope? Oh, it's this. Check this out. Listen to this. Oh, cool. When you're going to iTunes, you're not, because iTunes is recommending you shit based on what you're buying. It's not the same thing.
No, I give you that. But what I'm saying though, but before I even go to iTunes, I'm talking to Ken. Yo, Ken, did you listen to this? Oh yeah. What'd you think?
How'd you find out about it?
Huh?
How'd you find out about it?
Me? Because probably somebody even mentioned me, or I seen it in iTunes.
It's on Twitter or iTunes.
Okay, but the thing is that what I'm saying is you can still get what you're talking about. It's just not at the store anymore. It's just not at the store.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. Again, it was like when we have these discussions about albums and we talk about, oh, you know, Rick Ross's album was made this way and it's made for this person, da 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 da. The only time you have those discussions is if you're on fucking Twitter and you're limited to 140 characters. It's not personal. We don't know any of these people. You formed friendships when you went to record stores in my day.
Just based off music taste.
Just based on music taste. You go through and you talk to people. It was and even the people that made the albums will sometimes be there. And you chat with them about shit. You don't get that anymore because it's not personal. There's nothing personal about purchasing music anymore. It's all about what does it sound like? You know, is it high enough quality? Some of the times, people don't make music to sound like that. They make it to sound like it sounds on the fucking record. You know, like I think that when you listen to certain albums, the fucking bumps and the slight sound, it makes the album sound that much better. You know, like one of my favorite bands is the Incredible String Band. Like I couldn't imagine listening to that through some Beat by Dre headphones that are at 2,000 kilobytes per millisecond. It won't sound right. It sounds too clean.
Plus, it takes you back though when you hear it that way.
Because it was supposed to sound like this. It's supposed to sound like you're chilling, listening to some shit in a forest with some weird hippies.
Yeah, now they even, you know, they even have the master for iTunes that they're doing. Like they're
wow. Are you
Mike,
they have master for iTunes where they're actually really using technology to enhance the sound quality of the albums because they know that people kind of want that type of thing in their music. Because there have definitely been the complaints. When it comes to digital versus physical, for me, I'm kind of somewhere stuck in the middle.